I call to order the Lisbon Village Board meeting Wednesday, May 14th, 2025 at 6:35. Roll call, please.
President Gerke,
Here.
trustee Moonen,
Here.
trustee Baum,
Here.
trustee Quinn,
Here.
trustee Beal,
Here.
treasurer Gerard,
Here.
administrator Green,
Here.
and clerk Capasso to record the minutes.
Right, we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next item on the agenda are citizens' comments. Citizens are invited to step up to the microphone, make comments, and if you can, limit it to about 3 minutes. Sure.
John Fenn,
State your name and address for the record. please.
John Fenn, W226 N8947, Jolyn Drive, Sussex. I just wanted to ask if well, I talked to Dan a little bit about it, and Dan's got some emails back and forth from the Wisconsin DNR. Basically, we called in what we thought was deer poaching. There were some guys out shooting deer for the last couple of weeks, so we called the DNR to investigate poaching. They came out, they investigated it, and they found out that they were shooting deer with rifles, not shotguns in the town of Lisbon, which is an ordinance violation, and they were shooting them. This deer was shot like only a couple, like maybe the length of this room from our property line, and within 500 feet of our house. So they got a bunch of doe tags to shoot a bunch of does. So come to find out that they have like some extermination permits, but it's on the Bassey's Trust. But my issue is that we tried to talk to these people, and they're shooting them with long range rifles, but we couldn't communicate with them like verbally. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say they don't speak English, but we couldn't communicate with them and tell them they're not supposed to use rifles. So the Dan's been in contact a little bit this way. I'm not sure what the extent of that. He's trying to get the names from them and stuff, but all I would ask is that if the town would, because there's no safe place. Like I have storage business on the other side, I have a trailer business on the other side, I have a house on the other side. So I have 3 properties that surround this, and on the other side is County Line Road. So rifles go like a mile. So if they're going to go out there deer hunting, they should be only using shotguns. So it's a safety violation. I was wondering if someone could at least follow up and make sure that the invited guests on that property know the rules and limit the way and direction that they're shooting. So, and they did get Washington County tags, but they can't shoot the deer in Washington County because Richfield only has a limit of a 22. So they come over to they were shooting them in Waukesha County on the other side. So too. I would just ask if you could follow up on that and make sure that they know that they shouldn't be discharging long range rifles in the town of Lisbon along Highway Q. That's all I'm asking.
Wow. Wow.
So, and then we were told also by the DNR, I said, well, why are they shooting deer in April and May? They said so that they can eliminate as many as possible. So they shoot the pregnant does because they only have doe tags. They can't shoot anything else. If they shoot the pregnant does, then they can eliminate. Well, if they have 8 tags and 1 out of every 2 are pregnant, they eliminate 20 with their 8 tags. So that's what we were told.
Wow.
Because I asked, why don't you just go out there during deer season in November like everybody else, right? They're all over. So they said that they can eliminate them much faster when they're before they give birth. So
Sure. Dan, you've been in contact. This was the first I heard about this was tonight, but John and Heidi have talked.
Yeah, I've reached out to the warden. He's supposed to give me a list of who actually has hunting permits. They're nuisance tags, so typically they do them off season so that they can try and narrow down the herd a little bit, or
So so the issues also then would be, it sounds like they've got a tag on, well, Waukesha versus Washington County, but then they don't have the permission of the property owner in between the Fenn property and the Bassey property as well.
Yeah,
Sounds
I mean,
like-
I don't want to get too much into this. It's not on the agenda,
But you've got enough information if they leave here in a couple
Correct.
minutes. Okay.
Yep.
Anyone else?
And my husband John, and I, going along with that same line too, is a nuisance as well as a safety issue to have people shooting long range rifles behind our home. I do ride horses in the back and our trails. I do use our trails to walk our dog as well as take walks as well. And it's not safe for me to be outside with hunting. And then two ladies who board their horses where I board my horse also had an issue this last weekend too with hunters that were shooting when they were going horseback riding and they're concerned. So they asked me to pass out this letter. Be all right if I just.
Yeah.
yeah. Go. Thank you.
John, I'll take those. Thank you.
I don't think we should really receive these. Jim, we shouldn't really.
First time I've heard about this. This is awful.
We can accept it
Awful.
as correspondence, but we can't address it.
How about me?
What time of day?
Pass.
Oh, this is the same. Okay.
How about talking to the Bassett's? Talk to Bassett's, they gave them.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from citizens present? All right, do we have any comments from anyone?
No one
else?
present on Zoom.
All right, so we'll move on to item 4, which is the consent agenda. These items will be approved in one motion unless a trustee requests separate consideration. Is there anything that anyone wishes to be pulled from this list?
No.
All right, is there a motion then on the consent agenda?
Motion to approve A through G.
I'll second.
All right,
Monan and Quinn.
A from.
Dan, is there anything you want to state on any of these?
No, but if anybody has any questions on this, just feel free to shoot either myself or at least an email. Between, Matt and Rob, you guys are both new, so if anything's unfamiliar to you, staff will be available for any questions. Except for Thursday and Friday for me, because I won't be here, so.
All right, so any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. All right, motion carries 5-0. So I guess similar to what we did what the board did in the past, for these account payables, we'll have items separated and so for the one-click bills, Rob, you intend on abstaining from those, so. Item 5, A is to authorize payments of the one-click bills dated April 25th for $2,038.33. Is there a motion to approve? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Always say nay. All right, motion carries 4-0. Item 5B is to authorize payments of the remaining bills dated April 25th for $823,534.25 and May 9th for $254,764.51.
I'll read the top 5 expenditures for April 25th. The top 5 were $546,189.10 to Village of Sussex, $130,647.41 to GFL, $76,669.14 to Waukesha County Treasurer, $16,611.86 to US Bank Corp. And $14,645 to Kunkel Engineering. And for May 9th, bills, $132,539.68 to GFL, $38,649.57 to Premier Building Inspections, $22,180.53 to Hamilton School District, $9,079.67 to Anthem, and $7,350 to Baker Tilly.
Is there a motion on this item?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Is there any discussion?
Yes, I have one. Okay. On page 7, I just have to bring this,
Which
top-
register, Linda?
oh, I'm sorry, the big one. The big one.
Okay.
Okay. There is, on the Village of Sussex, there is a $399,000+ bill that the utility is paying to Sussex for an upgrade. And I understand that. I understand that there's a principal interest that was due from 08, and I understand and accept that. What bothers me I'm talking as a private citizen, if I can do that now. I don't know if I can, or as a board member, as a board member, I'm talking. I don't understand. I know, the utility will be expanding. And I don't think it's fair for all the residents in the district now to have to pay for an upgrade for this, and the new people will be benefiting from it. So I think the village should be paying part of it. I'm not saying all of it. I think they should be paying part of it because it's coming down the road, folks. That's my comment. Thank you.
Was this something that was debated and discussed during the Public Works and Utility Committee meeting?
They talked about an upgrade. I had no idea it was $399,000. I'm just floored. I just found that out today, $399,000. Because the people online have been paying, people that are hooked up to sewer now, 430 thereabouts, are paying a lot of times for things that's for future people. And I think it's unfair for the people that are hooked up to be paying for that. So I think the village should come forward and say, hey, wait a minute, it's not fair for these people to be paying this. I think we have to help because this is for the betterment of the whole village. That's my position.
Just to note, it's $399,000 for the first installment, which is
Yes.
60%. So just so you know, it's over $700,000.
I know, it's overwhelming. And then, and then the district worked very hard to put money aside for problems and stuff, for the district that are online, but this money is being eaten up now. And that frustrates me, truly frustrating, and it always has, and you can talk to anybody, and I won't hide the fact, that's how I feel.
So I've been to a Public Works Committee meeting or two in the last couple of months, but not all of them, I'll say. So your chair there, do you want to add anything, or can you maybe provide a little more insight directly for Rob and myself?
Yeah, I think what Linda's speaking to, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think what she's referring to is that when we were a township, we had a sanitary district. When we became a village, we converted into a utility. I think what she's addressing is that the funds carried over from that into the utility. She's saying that the sanitary district funds should not be used for utility purposes.
No, I'm not saying, I'm just saying that, yes, it has to be for utility purposes and pay the bills, that's a given. But now this is an upgrade. Why should the money that the people online, because we always pay a little extra to have money on have like a savings account or whatever fund. Why should the district, the original district, 400 some homes, have to pay the whole thing for this? I think the village should come and say, okay, now this is for the betterment of the village. Why are these 400 homes paying for it and nobody else? That's my viewpoint. And all that money was passed over, yes.
I think the easiest way to address it is that we don't have the ability to separate that anymore. Legally, we had to convert into a utility. funds had to go somewhere.
I know that, but I'm just saying, why can't I can understand separate, but why can't the village step? I don't understand the legality of it. So if you can explain the legality of it, why can't the village come forward and say, hey, it's not fair, the village needs to participate in this money? Because yes, though people online are benefiting from the upgrade, I'm not saying that, but everybody else is too.
I would say it's similar to your TID district. It's completely separate fund, completely separate users and the people that are benefiting directly for that.
We also pay for things for the TED district. You know, some things, if it's an improvement, they pay, but if it's a maintenance thing, we pay.
Out of the TID fund though, never out
No,
of just the
it-
village.
I believe I asked this before. I was told it was out of the utility funds. If it's an improvement, then they
So-
pay.
So for televising, right, that came up recently. Well, that is a sewer maintenance. That is a sewer charge, not a TID charge. If it's new improvements, it would be a TID charge. But the fact is it is a separate fund. And I don't want to get too much into this because it's not really on the agenda, just the bills are, but
Just addressing this, that
Sure.
was all. Giving my viewpoint. I'm still on the menu.
So I mean, it's this, we're debating the bill here. I mean, to me, it seems like the larger topic should have been addressed before the work was done and the bill came due.
Yes.
Do we even have a choice at this point to deny the bill or is it?
I mean, the bill has to be paid. It's a matter of who pays it, but I mean.
it was
but
already
it's-
approved at both. Okay.
I was not there. I'm sorry.
But it's a committee that you're on.
Yeah,
Okay,
and I
all
didn't
right.
know it was 399,000. Amount was that I remember, and now it's 700 some thousand. I've overwhelmed. It's gonna be wiping out a lot of this money.
So we have a maintenance agreement, user agreement with Sussex, and
Mhm.
this is our fair share
Yeah, yep,
of.
I
that
understand
agreement.
that.
It's a necessary upgrade for them to service us, being that they're our wastewater
Mhm.
treatment facility.
I guess, and it's off topic, so I can't say what I really feel and how I think, you know, it's not appropriate for the agenda.
So, okay, so it's on, so the motion's made to approve the bill. If there's a larger issue, and that probably should go on in front of that committee, the utility committee. And we can, I'm sure Dan and others will provide more information as
Next
needed.
week's meeting. But I don't know how it's gonna help.
All right, so regarding the bills, is there any other question on the bills? Hearing none, then all in favor of approving the bills, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay.
Okay,
Right, motion carries 4-1. Item 6 is announcements and correspondence. I'll announce the upcoming meetings. We have the Public Works and Utility Committee meeting next Wednesday here at the Village Hall at 5 o'clock. The Board of Appeals next Thursday at 5 o'clock at the Richard Young Fire Station. The Joint Public Hearing and Plan Commission meeting on Wednesday, May 28th, 6:30 at the Richard Young Fire Station. So there's another joint public hearing, so that would be, you know, the ideally the full board. But at a minimum, you know, at least one other person besides Rob and myself. Board of Review on Tuesday, June 3rd at 6 o'clock. It's until at least 8 o'clock at the Richard Young Fire Station. Parks Committee meeting Wednesday, June 11th at 5 o'clock here. And then the Village Board meeting Wednesday, June 11th, 6:30 at the Village Hall. Is there any other announcements or correspondence to be noted at this time?
The only thing that I would add is, for any of the board members who are able to attend that joint public hearing, with the Plan Commission on the 28th. There will be a Zoom link. If you can just shoot me an email and let me know if you're able to make it or not, I'll make sure that you get a copy of the agenda and the Zoom link.
so someone needs to be there or on
At least
Zoom
one
or-
additional board member needs to be there.
or on Zoom.
Yeah.
Correct.
And again, when you're out of town and whatever else and health issues,
Yeah.
I understand. My preference is showing up in person. It's
Yes.
less clumsy. It's just, it works a lot better, but there's circumstance, I know everyone's got other things going on. So we've got a policy in place that accommodates for that, but my preference would be if you're able to make it, to make it in person. Item 7 then is administrator report, Dan.
Sure, just a few things. We've listed 3 of the fire apparatus on the Wisconsin surplus auction. So we've gotten a lot of interest. I've handled numerous emails asking questions about them, so that's a good sign. We do have minimum bids, so there's a price point that I wanted to see, and I talked to the fire chief and we agreed on those points. And they will become due in a couple of weeks. We did sell the 3 ambulances. 2 of the 3 are not operating, so we didn't get great amount of money for them, but we did get 25,000 for the 3. And those are we're working out logistics for those the 2 to be hauled away and the 1 to be picked up. And let's see, I attended 2 meetings this week regarding Highway K reconstruction potentially in early 2031, 2032 timeframe. That information, it was put on the website. I can provide more information to the board if at their request. A lot of it's based on whether they can obtain federal funding for the project. So they had a good information meeting. Matt also came for that at the tail end, and some good public comments. It lasted a couple of hours. So I'd be happy to share any information with you guys if you want to find out more. And the baseball diamond will begin construction starting Monday, hopefully, if the weather holds. So I know we're supposed to get some rainy days next week, but hopefully Monday looks clear. So that'll be good for them to start working on that. And just a heads up, we may want to consider, and I'll talk to Matt about this later, but flipping the Public Works and Village Board meeting next week. It's actually next month. Thank you. Next week. And it's related to another agenda item that's coming up later regarding an easement. There's also a maintenance agreement that has to be approved, and there's a 30-day notification timeline that we have to make that happen. So I prefer to table that item tonight when we get to it, and then take both the maintenance agreement and the easement together. So, and I'll discuss that later with Matt and Mark as we move closer. And that is it. I will be off Thursday and Friday, but if you need me in case of an emergency, feel free to call me. I'll be available. And that's it.
All right, item 8 then is the treasurer's report. Natasha?
I'll start off with training efforts and general updates before I move on to the financials. So last year I earned my treasurer's certificate, and then this summer, I'm attending the clerk's completion course in July. Lisa will be attending her first year treasurer's track, and she did apply for scholarship. I'm planning to attend the fall treasurer's conference in September, which is virtual, and I applied for a scholarship for that as well. I was nominated for a seat on the mentorship committee. That's through the Municipal Treasurers Association of Wisconsin. I'm considering the chair position for that committee to earn more points toward recertification. Regarding a utility management update, we are fully migrated as of January 1st, and the beginning balances have been entered into our system. The 2024 audit was completed with Mike Sargent. And the Q1 and Q2 residential bills have been done. Lisa was trained on the Q2 bills and as well as receipting. And then we plan to train Jasmine next. Regarding utility, I'm handling the monthly commercial bills and the banking financial efforts, and also managing training efforts and checks and balances within the office with the bills. Audit was handled remotely at the end of March, and the audit entries are complete. Form C was submitted by deadline, and I started working on the TID annual report. That deadline is July 1st. Regarding taxes, the tax collection drop-off process went smoothly this year, and we sold compost passes again. I just would like to acknowledge and just shout out special thanks to all the staff in the office for assisting during that utility migration and training, which occurred at tax time. January and February settlements are complete, and we received 82% of tax revenues as of April.
The April lottery credit settlement is balanced, distributed. The August settlement is remaining. And the good news is during those high balance tax months of December through February, we earned 4.39% to 4.72%. And then I transferred the remaining balance to money market to continue the LGIP rate match. Just a reminder, I did negotiate a rate match for our primary bank accounts, where we receive the LGIP rate, but it follows just a 1-month lag. So moving on to the financials, those follow the recycling flyers in the packet. I will speak to the summary page and then the investment page. Following are the detail reports, and those are line items that make up the different categories I will speak to tonight. So as of the end of March, looking at that summary page right at the top for revenues, we've received 64% of our budgeted revenues. Key callouts are taxes and garbage special charges, which are under that public charges for services category at 73%. And then also investment income. Upcoming revenues are listed down at the bottom of the page. We have approximately 1.7 million in aids coming in. Total expenditures are up next for, you'll see bold, the total 19% of the budget as of March 31st. If you include the capital we levied for in the general fund, which is that $724,000 transfer, that's under other financing sources. If you add that in, we're at 28%. Upcoming debt payments taking us through year end include, down toward the bottom of the page, interest $57,000 approximately, and then the $100,000 principal payment. There's no major department callouts with the exception of AMBO revenue and expenditures. Dan is working on processes with Pewaukee, and I'm working with the new billing company for the AMBO bills. We are missing reports, so those I should have by next week, and that includes January through April. So our financials will be more accurate as of June. Let's move on to investments. So the total investments right in the middle of the page in blue, 15.5 million. Is that mine? Is that my mic? Can I just yell it out?
It won't be recorded.
It's not your.
It's not mine.
Is
It's
that
not
one?
yours.
Okay. I didn't know if it was distracting. Okay. So the total investments as of March are approximately 15.5 million, and the total interest earned for Q1, including the utility accounts now, is just over 207,000. The interest income is slightly higher than Q1 of last year due to the additional income from those utility accounts, but in line overall. I listed the quarterly interest history on the bottom of the investment page as an FYI. And just a couple more things on CDs and rates, and then I'll wrap it up. We renewed the Waukesha State Bank CDs at 4%. This is down from 5%, but still in line with 2-year Treasury benchmarks. I closed the Town Bank CD and due to extremely low rates. And we just transferred those funds directly into the Town Bank money market. Again, the money market is offering the best rate at this time due to that LGIP rate match. I'm staying on top of the rate discussions and listening to the Fed meetings, and I can work to secure a CD in less than a week at any bank as rates decline. Just a note on rates, the Fed did hold rates at the May meeting last week, so 4.25 to 4.5%. They're taking a wait and see approach. And so they're not in a rush to decrease rates due to tariff negotiations, uncertainty, as you've all likely been hearing in the media. We will know more at the June meeting. So June 18th, there's another Fed meeting, and the analysts suspect there should be a rate cut at that time in order to meet the projections of 4% by the end of the year. Other than that, like I mentioned, the detailed reports are available to you. So if you have any questions after the meeting, I can dig into any of those line items and get back to you. Do you have any questions now?
Since you've got the utilities separated in both, the money market and the local government, any interest that's earned, does that go in that utility? Or does that go into the village?
It's going into the separate utility.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
I just have it totaled down here, but you can see like that the other account.
Right.
It's a different interest account. It's
Right.
166.
Right, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions on the treasury report?
I got some comments to bring forward. Not everybody may be aware, but the utility integration was very heavy lifting for Natasha as well as staff in the office. I'm proud to say at my level, I get zero complaints about it. We totally expected there was gonna be some hiccups along the way, but thanks to Natasha and her staff for the more than extra effort that was put in, and your guys' management was impeccable for it, so thank you on that aspect. One thing, this is, as I was preparing for this, this is something that didn't happen in the last quarter. I just want to point out that 5 years ago, I think it was, we decided to move to a full-time treasurer position. And this is definitely the results paying off because Natasha's in this every day. This isn't a part-time position anymore. This is being looked at. This isn't just we're reacting to the market anymore. I'm proud to say we're actually staying on top of being progressive in our finances and it's awesome to see the results of it. So kudos to Natasha and her staff as well as our leadership here.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's just the way that she's talking, you can tell it's probably more than just the full time. It's you obviously there's the passion a little bit there too for some of that and I haven't heard that before, so that's very nice. Anyone else? All right, we'll then move on to item 9, new business. 9A is discussion on necessary action regarding annual committee member appointments. Who wants to provide an overview of this? We have something in the.
Yeah, I just did a brief memorandum in your packets, annual appointments according to our village ordinance must be done by May 15th of each year. I've noted the personnel who are up for reappointment, as well as I noted 2 separate motions, one for reappointment for full terms, and then one for a partial term to fill the remainder.
So on these items, again, my understanding was that there was no complaints with existing members and any of the committees that people chaired, and everyone kind of wanted them back. I don't think I talked to everyone directly, but from what I heard from staff, that was the case. And I think you and I did talk directly, Mark, on looking to have Joe back. So the new member that we would be nominated here is Kurt. I think everyone knows Kurt's back there. I did ask, I wanted to get some more information on especially the plan commission members. That was most important to me, but also the public works and utility committee members for when they are appointed. I apologize if this came in late. It was sent out much earlier, but I don't think we got back from Joe, but again, you've had enough of a working relationship with
Haven't gotten
him.
them back from probably 8 people yet.
Okay, so again, and the most important is probably Kurt's because he's new here, so we have that. I'm happy with the answers and his general philosophy that matches, I think, with myself, and I believe the personality of and desires of the board as a whole. So is there, with that being said, is there a motion based on the recommendation here or otherwise?
I'm gonna make a motion to appoint Kurt Lester to the planning commission.
I second.
Do you want to take, we could take them all together if that would be fine.
Oh, I don't know.
So you can read that whole motion.
All right, motion to appoint Kurt Lester to the planning commission, Joe Eberly to public works and utility, Ed Nelson to parks, Prosper Hanstill to the board of appeals, Joseph Metzger to the board of review, alternate number 1 for a 3-year term expiring May 15th, 2028.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
All right, Linda seconded. Any additional discussion?
Mm-mm.
All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Okay, there's one more motion for the remainder of a term to fill a vacancy.
So what's happening here on the board of review, and this kind of ties into the next item, but I'll keep it on this item A as much as possible. So I was on the board of review as a citizen member. I am no longer will be the citizen member, but the way that I guess the ordinance is written is that there's 2 village board members. They can be the village president or the trustee, according to what Dan looked up. I've got some background in there, so, and I think instead of it just going directly to Rob's fine not doing that. I've got some personal as does Linda, expertise in the real estate side of things, so I'll will take that, but then that opens up well, since I was elected, I guess that opens up 1 seat. And Nate Winkle, he did provide some additional information.
Yep, and I handed that out as well.
Okay, I just missed that. Oh, that was this one here.
Yep.
Okay, I've seen this previously, so. And I know him personally. He's a good guy. I think he'll do very well. So with that being said, is there a motion on the second part of this item?
I'll make a motion to appoint Nathan Winkle to the Board of Review for the remainder of the term expiring 5/15/2026.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion's made and seconded. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries 5-0. Item 9B is discussion or necessary action regarding trustee committee assignments. Dan and I kind of talked about this, and I guess back in my time on the board, this was approved by the board, but I guess more recent years it wasn't. So we're not sure if this needs action or not, but this is on the agenda to address these. And I guess my understanding was that this is the committees that everyone is sitting on. It probably makes the most sense. I don't see a better shuffling, and I think everyone likes what they're currently doing. So hopefully I got good information and you all agree with that.
Mhm. Yeah.
So do we want a formal motion on this, Dan? I guess that's how it was agendized.
I don't think so, if everyone's already in their place, but at least we can, make it clear to the board that everyone's gonna keep their current positions as they are. And you've already addressed the board of review issue, so I think we're good.
And Rob already did a plan commission meeting, so we better be okay, I guess.
Unless he doesn't want to go back.
No, I'm good with it.
Just a question before you go to motion. Did we make any to the quarry?
So the other ones that are out there is the quarry, which and the 2 for the fire department. So those we're still working through those. And I don't know if that'll be in the coming months, but well, the quarry one will probably come sooner than the fire.
Yeah, and I'll have to get acclimated to what that quarry one is, because I didn't have the discussion with Joe regarding the quarry board, but maybe that was brought up to you. And I know,
We've never appointed to it, so we'll have to make appointments to stand it.
okay. And I think probably the best time would be after you and I meet with the village and with Pen and Stone as well, because then we'll have a better idea of what that committee will look like and what expertise we need in regards to appointments. That would be mine.
And I think that was 3 members or something like that, but Joe said the that he would be willing to serve on that, so. That's, we'll take advantage of that if he's willing to do that. Any other questions or? All right, let's move on to item 9C, which is discussion and necessary action regarding the stormwater drainage easements at Visual Sewer.
So in my administrative report, I kind of touched on this. Eric did some work to help draft this drainage easement. In doing so, he found references to 3 different CSMs that were tied to 3 different organizations. And so in that, he found a reference to this drainage easement in a maintenance agreement for this as well. So we need to also redraft the maintenance agreement or just change the reference to, I believe, the exhibit of this drainage easement. But in doing so, we have to have a 30-day notification to those stakeholders that are owners of the easement. So we've drafted a letter. We're working on who to send those to. Hopefully we can get them out by either the end of this week or on Monday. And so I would look for a motion to table so we can take both the maintenance agreement and the stormwater drainage easement on the same agenda.
Table to utility or table back to?
Table back to the.
I'll make a motion to table the discussion necessary action regarding stormwater drainage easement at Visitor Sewer to the next regular or next village board.
Second.
I forgot my Robert's rules on tabling. Is that a debatable item? I know,
I think it's all debated.
well, I mean, a motion to adjourn is not, right?
Oh, right.
So. So with that being said, it sounds like it is debatable. Is there any discussion?
Mhm.
Yeah, motion to table is, sure.
Okay.
All right, hearing none, all those in favor of tabling, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries to table to the next village board meeting 5-0. Item 9D is discussion and necessary action regarding the Department of
Wait.
Agriculture, trade and consumer protection.
all right, agreement for the weights and measures. Yeah.
Sure. So the Department of Ag notified us that because we have incorporated into a village and that we're over 5,000 in population.
Oh.
We would be required to
Hey.
handle the billing of the weights and measures inspections that are done by the state. So typically the state would, if prior to us being a village, the state would do it for each facility, and then they would bill them. And now we're a village, they're giving us the ability to do it, but we can only bill what the direct cost of what they're doing is. So there's not really a net benefit to it. It's just more busy work for us, but it's a requirement that we have to do it because of being a village. So these are measuring devices such as a gas station, gas pumps, something where you measure for an item. They do quarries, but quarries isn't part of this. That's a separate billing that they do that wouldn't be tied to this specifically. But if you have a grocery store and you weigh your bananas or weigh your apples or whatever it is, those types of scales. We don't have many, but we've got a lot of gas stations and one pump that has 3 pumps on one side, 3 on the other. That's 6 different measuring devices. So there are quite a bit. So the recommendation is obvious to approve because we don't really have a choice, but we have it anyway.
So this is the first, even though we've been incorporated for a couple of years now, this is the first year that we've been required to do this?
Correct.
And you said this is, and so whatever, so if it's 1 day or 2 days, if it's $750 per day, if it's $1,500 and there's 8 businesses, it's just, you take the total charge and divide it by the number of businesses and you fill it out, so it's nets out.
Yeah, so what I used to do this in New Berlin and we had hundreds of these, and so it was a little more difficult. So what we would do is spread out every single unit to each of the businesses. And in this case, it's easier because we don't have as many. So when they send us the list of everything that they've done, we can just build them out after the fact. So we'll do that this year, and then next year we'll have the other list of the other half of, because they'll do half in 1 year and half in the other. And so it's a 2-year cycle. So we'll be able to, over 2 years, get a list of every single weights and measure machine, I guess you call it. So that we would know from year to year, and then we'd have a better idea of how we want to bill it. But for the first year, I think the best thing to do is let them give us a list of who they're inspecting, and then we can bill them out after the fact. And it'll simply be if they inspect 20 units or 20 machines or whatever you call it, then you do divide 1,500 by 20, and then you bill it out to those facilities.
Is the 2 days, is that just an estimate, or is that
It's $1,500. That's pretty much what it is. They may do it in 2 days, they may do it one day, and one day they might do it for 2 hours. Spread out, but that's just the time frame that they give us as far as what the time expected to measure those.
anyone have any?
One thing I thought, do we have to add this to our fee schedule since we're the ones billing it?
No, because right now, Elisa and I are talking about directly billing for the cost. So that might fluctuate. So if they test less machines in 1 year than the other, then the per machine amount might go up or might go down. So I think we just do a direct billing as we're basically a pass through, or they charge us, we charge them. It's not like we can charge any more to make any money on it. So I don't think we would put it in our fee schedule. And I did look at other communities. They don't have weights and measures in their schedule either, probably for the same reason.
It's an actual cost. So
And we're talking about using the state program, not to, because it says you can either create one of your own or use the state program. We would just use the state program.
Yeah, maybe big cities like Milwaukee or Madison have people that do them, but we don't have anybody with those skill sets, I guess. So
And I'm sorry, how many that are you gonna be sending out bills to bill? Approximately, do you have any idea?
how many gas stations we have? What, four
Okay.
gas stations? Those are gonna be the biggest ones.
Right.
And then, within those gas stations, they probably have, if they have the weights on the actual checking out facility, but I mean, we don't have any grocery stores or
Right,
a lot of, so there's probably not gonna be that many.
okay, thank you.
They were just, we were
5.
Yeah, but.
pretty quick trip, some mobile and
Yeah.
cases. Any other discussion?
Mm-mm.
All right, is there a motion on this item then?
I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum of agreement for weights and measures inspections.
I second.
Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Right, motion carried 5-0. Item 10 is a closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.85(1) for the purpose of conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved, more specifically regarding the ATC claim. Is there a motion to go into closed session for those purposes?
I do.
All right, Linda was made the motion, Mark seconded, roll call vote, please.
trustee Beal,
Yes.
trustee Quinn,
Yes.
trustee Bond,
Yes.
trustee Moonen,
Yes.
president Gerke.
Aye.
Had to do it.
All right, closed session at 7:23 PM. Bear with me a moment while I stop the recording.